Hello and welcome to Vlogtober day 23. My name is Tracy and I am the host of Knitting on the Float. And today we are in the kitchen and we are going to do a little bit of, I think, cooking. I don't quite think it's baking. I think it's more cooking. I could be wrong. I have just made myself a cup of Yorkshire biscuit tea in my Haunted Mansion mug. We are coming up on Halloween very, very soon. And today we are going to use my favorite cookbook. Now, I love this cookbook so much, I have two of them. This was the first one that I have. And in the back of this cookbook, I have a very special recipe that is handwritten and taped in there. This one is just a soft cover. My mother had this Laura Secord cookbook and it looked pretty much maybe a little bit worse for wear than this one. It still does because she uses it a lot. And it went out of print for many, many years and then it came back in print. So as soon as it came back in print, I wanted a copy of my own. I bought this way back when, probably in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s even. And I love this cookbook. And used that one for the most part. And then one day I was walking down the street at my old house in Toronto. And you know how people put books and things out on the street? This hardcover was out on the street. Somebody had pulled out the first page. I guess it had some sort of inscription, maybe a wedding, you know, happy marriage, or who knows, I don't know. I can deal without that first page. And today we're going to go to the page that it opens up to the most, and that is traditional pancakes. I have a little bit of eggnog, which has gone a little bit off. And sometimes the secret to a really great pancake is using a bit of sour milk. So I'm going to use eggnog, which has gone a little bit off, and then I'll add a little bit of milk as needed. But we are going to drink tea, mix up some ingredients, and then make some pancakes. So let me just angle you a little bit more there. And starting off, I'm going to get my measuring spoons, and I usually double the recipe. My ingredients in this house are getting a little bit low, so I'm a little bit worried about my magic baking powder. I may not have quite enough, or I'll just have just enough, one or the other. Anyway, my flour, I do have more flour in the house, but I think I may have to top up my flour as I am making this. So, as I said, I usually double the recipe. My 1 cup measuring spoon is currently in the wash, so I'm just using the 1/2 cup one. And I'm just going to do 3 cups of flour here. As I said, I'm going to need to refill, so that's 1 cup there. And I can probably do a 1/2 more with what is at the bottom here. And then I'm going to want to put some new flour in, so we will do that in just a moment. Thankfully, I had the foresight to get more flour. We're going to flour everywhere in a moment. And I will just actually take the next 3 straight from the bag. I don't sift. Once I've opened my flour, if I have a little bit left, I usually put an elastic band on and then throw it in the freezer. I absolutely love my Sophie Conran canisters, and they are great for flour and sugar. And usually what I do, once I've added the ingredient, I put it back, so then that way it keeps my counter a little bit more clear as I continue with the pancake making process. I've now added all my flour. I now need to add baking powder. The problem is I am very low on baking powder. I know I don't quite have enough, so I'm just going to add everything what I can and make sure I put this on the next shopping list because I definitely need that. And then we are going to do a little bit of salt. And then some granulated sugar. So those are my dry ingredients. My dry ingredients are all added now, so I'm just going to give them a quick stir. Because I don't have as much baking powder, they're not going to rise as fluffy as my pancakes usually do, but oh well, sometimes that happens. Oh shoot. I dropped the egg on the counter. I am making a huge mess. Pulling out flour, dropping eggs on counter. Oh, goodness. Okay, so I've added my eggs. I'm going to add in my milk and my eggnog, which I think the eggnog will make it a little bit fun. I've put some butter in this mug. I'm going to melt it quickly because I like to put it in my mix rather than oil. I think adding the eggnog will be quite a nice addition. It's 1.5 2.5 and the last little bit of the eggnog. I'm now going to add the milk in, and I have 1/2 cup more. There we go. Tiny bit of milk. I think maybe I need to drink that. I'm just going to add that little bit of melted butter in here. Now I have one ingredient that is not in the recipe that I add, and that is vanilla. I love adding a little touch of vanilla, and I usually just add a nice capful in there. Love my vanilla. And now I'm going to stir it, not too much, enough to break my eggs, although one of them did break on the counter. And then I'm spilling it everywhere, making such a mess. I'm going to mix it up, and then I'm going to make it on the griddle on the stovetop. Because I've used the eggnog, my mix is a little bit thicker than normal, so I'm actually just going to add the rest of this milk in. There's not a lot there, but that should just help make it a little bit more runny. Not too runny, but it was really super thick a few moments ago. Anyway, give this a little bit more of a stir. And yeah, the nice thing about eggnog is it is nice and thick, but it definitely thickened up that pancake mix. It smells nice with the vanilla and the eggnog. A little bit of spice to it. I have just washed up my 1/2 cup spoon, and I'm going to use that to dollop the pancakes onto the stovetop. Okay, so I'm going to rinse these babies out and put some of my ingredients away, and then I will start up the oven and start cooking pancakes. I just opened the drawer to take a spoon out to remove my tea bag, and somebody put the cup measuring spoon away in the wrong spot. So I actually usually use the half measurement when I'm doing pancakes, so not the end of the world. All the ingredients are now put away. However, I have a little bit of a mess to deal with. That won't take very long. Here is our pancake mix, and we are ready to start cooking. The great thing about my stove is I have a griddle insert, so I do like to make pancakes on this. I put a little bit of butter on and rubbed it in, and now I am going to start putting pancake mix on once it warms up a little bit. Let's see how coordinated I can be. I'm probably going to make a huge mess. So a few dribbles. I usually only do about 2 at a time, and it's actually midday. I'm going to have a couple of these today, but I am making most of these so that we can put them in the freezer for breakfasts. So there is some batter on the griddle waiting to cook up. Because I don't have quite enough of the baking powder, it's not going to rise up as fluffy as it normally does. And look, I made a bit of a mess. There's fire there, so I'm not going to clean it up straight away. I have just put the pancakes on and did a quick wipe up, other than the magic baking powder that I've left on the counter, so I remember to buy more. It looks like I haven't even been here. Although over here we do have the pancakes cooking. I'm just going to wait till they bubble and turn over. And this is just such a fun, easy recipe. And again, I'm going to mainly have them for breakfasts, but I am going to enjoy a little bit now too. Nathaniel has just come home from cadets, so he's going to want a pancake. So I've put 2 plates out. And these are the first 2. The bubbles are just starting to pop around the edge. I always find the first 2 come out the lightest, and then they tend to cook faster after that, probably because you're trying to eat them. But I'm getting close to flipping this one, and this one's not quite ready yet. We'll see how it goes. So, as I mentioned, I did butter this earlier. And still a little bit light. I figured it would be, but it just, it wanted to be flipped so badly. We'll give this one a little bit more time, and I've got the heat on 6.5 on the gas. At our old house, we had only electrical, and I gotta say, I am enjoying cooking with gas. I know I was being super impatient with that first one. I usually wait till all of the bubbles have started to break, and they are now just starting to do that. So hopefully when I flip this one, that will be more like what I would normally do. And a little bit better. I'm still being a little impatient. That is a much better side. So I'll plop that one there. Still a little light on the front. I've just put 2 more on. Listen to that sizzle. Yum, yum, yum. And over here we have 2 very light pancakes for Nathaniel, but I think he will enjoy them regardless of whether they are light or a little more overcooked. I think they're cooked, they're just light looking. Are those tasty? I put a fork and knife out, but they are so good. Nathaniel is eating them like a taco, I think. Tasty?
Yes.
Good. What is the secret ingredient in Mom's pancakes today?
Butter.
I did put butter in.
I don't know then.
There's a little bit of spice to it. Why? What did I use?
Cinnamon?
Not cinnamon. Although there may be cinnamon in this.
I don't know.
Eggnog. What do you think? You like them? A few moments ago you liked them. Now I've told you it's eggnog. You're making faces. You're silly. You seem to still be eating them though. Yeah? It had gone bad. So it's like using sour milk. You're supposed to use sour milk in pancakes. I am being a little bit more patient with the second batch, and I'm going to wait till the bubbles have all popped, and then I will flip these ones, and then I have quite a few more pancakes to still make. But these ones are mine. Perhaps I waited a little too long. I actually always notice that the first batch comes out really light, and then the ones afterwards, maybe I need to turn the temperature down a bit, but they always come out a lot more crisp. They're not as fluffy as my usual pancakes, but that's because I ran out of the baking powder. I hope you enjoyed making pancakes today. I still have this reminder that I need to buy baking powder. I have some tea still left to drink, but the kitchen for the most part is cleaned up. I will still need to clean the griddler, and there's a little bit of pancake batter that's spilled onto the stovetop, so I'll need to do that. But look here, I have a beautiful stack of pancakes ready for putting into the freezer for breakfasts, and I'll have a few happy people in the mornings when they can grab and go and have a lovely little breakfast. I am wishing you a wonderful October 23rd or whatever day it is for you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow when we will not be making any more pancakes, but I may have had a pancake for breakfast. Bye. Just poured my maple syrup, and I have my pancake right here. And let's give it a go. Yum.